Will Austin, Texas home prices continue to drop? Will supply continue its upward trend? And will demand stay suppressed in the face of sky-high, unrelenting interest rates? We'll dive into all of these things and more. And if you're thinking about making a move in Austin, Texas this year, you don't want to miss this video. Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Morris with Highlight Property Group, highlighting all things Austin, Texas. And in today's video, we're gonna take a deep dive into the March 2024 real estate stats, while also taking a look at year-to-date data versus last year and zooming out to understand longer-term trends so we can have a good idea of where we may be going. And some of this data might actually surprise you. All right, so we have the March 2024 stats pulled up here. This is the entire metro area from the northern parts, from Georgetown all the way up, actually all the way up to Killeen, all the way down to San Marcos, a couple smaller counties even further south. But primarily what we're going to be looking at is Williamson County, Travis County, and Hayes County. Now this data is from last month. So these are primarily from closed sale data from last month, meaning most of these homes went under contract in February. So take this with a grain of salt, but always good to look, now that we have a full month, it's always good to look back and see what the data is telling us. So here, median sale price, $450,000. That was the same exact close price from last March. So no movement there. However, looking down below here in these three boxes, we see pretty significant movement. New listings up 10%, active listings up 7.6%, but pending sales were also up 9.4%. So more homes coming on the market than last year. However, they're being absorbed at a higher rate than last year as well. So more supply. However, there seemed to be some increase in buying activity. Up now, this kind of foreshadowing what we're going to talk about later, but here is mortgage rates. Now, if we go ahead and look at, let's take it to 1 year. If we look at what mortgage rates were doing in February, they were actually quite lower than they are now. So as you see here, we have February 5th, a 6.6, so about 6.5%, about a full percent lower than we have right now. So were those homes being absorbed at a higher rate because of a lower interest rate? Well, only time will tell. We're almost through April here now, so we're going to have April data here shortly. It's going to be very interesting to see if this increase in mortgage rate would affect the pending sale data as well as active sales and ultimately price here down the road. But let's get back over to March. All right, now let's take a look at the city of Austin. So when looking at here, median sale price actually went up 3%, not a bad increase for a 1 month period. Looking back at month to month, so this is from up 3% from last March. So a nice pickup there. Sales also went up 3%. You saw a little bit more sales in Austin than were in the entire area. So a little bit more interest here. Again, maybe that 6.5% interest rate really helped things out, helped speed up the market. However, we look at this right here. We see 4 months of inventory. Now, if we looked last year at months of inventory, this number was in the 2s in the month of March. So this is a very big pickup here in terms of month of inventory. What we've been seeing in the city of Austin for really the last few years is very low months of inventory compared to the rest of the MSA. And now we've seen things kind of flip here where the city of Austin is actually higher months of inventory than the metro area. So months of inventory is going to be how many months it would take to for all of the current inventory for sale to actually be absorbed or to close. Again, here, the biggest pickup here, again, let's highlight here, 16.1% active listings. Now, we still see some pretty strong increase in pending sales, so that's good news there. Again, 6.5% interest rate, folks were buying. And again, when we look back at about September of 2023, September, October, we had interest rates as high as 8 on average. So, for those folks who were kind of cooled by that increase towards the end of the year and lack of inventory, we see homes come off the market. People, not really wanting to list in December due to holidays and things like that, and just an overall seasonally lower demand in that time period. And then when these folks came back to market with a little bit of a savings and a much lower interest rate, we saw them buying, and which caused potentially more people to list their house as well. Looking at Travis County as a whole, so this is going to be a major part. Austin actually goes through 3 different counties: Travis County, right in the center in downtown, all the way through South Austin and parts of North Austin, in East Austin. We have Williamson County for parts of North Austin, up and near the Round Rock and Cedar Park areas, and we also have the city of Austin trail into Hays County in the southwest. So Travis County is going to be primarily Austin, Texas. So when we're talking about Travis County, we're going to be looking at this area here right in the heart of Austin, where it goes through downtown, the lakes, West Austin, East Austin, South Austin, and parts of we got Pflugerville here, and it even goes into parts of Manor and Elgin here, but until we get in the county line over in the Bastrop area. And then, of course, we have Williamson County and Hays County to the south. These 3 counties here are going to be the biggest population centers and where we see most of the real estate activity. So we're going to focus on these 3 here. So Travis County had, again, months of inventory up. So you see here the other cities slightly pulling it up, meaning Pflugerville, Manor, Elgin, some of those outskirts, some of those suburbs have some new developments. There's a lot of new construction homes, production builders that add to the supply. So that's why we may see just a little bit of a tick up there. Again, we see active listings up 12% from last year, March. Again, similar trend here with pending sales. Not as many new listings. Williamson County actually has less inventory than Travis County and the city of Austin. So that's probably why we're seeing the MSA being lower than the city of Austin, because this Williamson County is one of the fastest growing suburbs in all of the nation, and maybe the fastest growing in all of Texas. So we're talking about Georgetown, Leander, Cedar Park, Round Rock, very popular area for relocators, and also just an overall growing part of Austin. And taking a deeper look into Williamson County. Or actually, let's take a deeper look into Travis first. So this is for sale inventory here. We've got the amount of homes for sale. Now, historically, we see about the average line of, it looks like 2020, we were just about average at about 2,500 or so homes for sale. So right now we're at 4,000. So as you can see here in the pandemic, inventory went very, very low. You hear parts of the West Coast and New England talking about how low the inventory is. Well, look how quickly it can change. We went from these lows, historical lows, up, passing our average in 2023, and we are continuing to climb here in 2024. Now let's take a look at that same data point. Let's take a look at that same data point here in Williamson County. You'll see a similar trend. You see inventory above historical averages here for sale inventory. This is sourced from Realtor.com, so essentially straight from MLS's. And this, you see kind of similar trend here, 2020, back down towards the average, a little above average actually, compared to Travis County. We had, more inventory here. And then, definitely went low in the time of the pandemic, and then continued to pop up. You see it really spiked up here in 2023. These might have been these new build starts here in this area. There's a ton of builders building up in Leander, in Georgetown, in Jarrell. Taylor is another area where the Samsung plant is that is growing like crazy. East Round Rock, Hutto, all these areas, just a ton of new build communities. So we saw a ton of them come online from 2022 as they were kind of catching up. Remember, here during the pandemic, they actually stopped building for quite some time. There was labor issues, there was lumber shortages, there were supply chain constraints. So that really slowed down the build. And there was just so many folks that were bidding on these new build communities. There were in auctions. The builders were really kind of holding inventory to kind of keep pace and keep control. It got behind the ball on it, and then really picked it up here. And then, we see now that it's actually kind of coming down a bit. So, a ton of demand that's buying up this for sale inventory and taking it off the market. But we're still, well above the average here. However, a much better trend here in Williamson County as opposed to Travis County. And just kind of rounding this out, let's take a look at Hayes County. That's going to be the county to the south of Travis County. So we're talking right here, Hayes. Towns, suburbs like Buda, Kyle, Dripping Springs, Driftwood, all the way down to San Marcos is all going to be Hayes County, including hill country town like Wimberley. So let's take a look at what they did in March. So slightly down on median price, $388. Definitely the most affordable of these three counties. Closed sales actually went up. So again, we're seeing January, February contracts, people get under contract and closing in March at a rate of 4% higher than the previous March. Months of inventory, this is going to be the most supply here between the three counties is in Hayes, 4.3, and this is actually up 0.6. So that's a pretty big increase there. New listings shot up. So this is the biggest area amongst these three large counties where new listings are substantially higher. We see 23% increase, and a 12% in active listings, 10% in pending sales. So a ton of homes coming on the market. However, they're being absorbed due to that lower interest rate at the time in February. And again, most homes here closing under list price. That's been a trend on all of these. 95, 95, 95, 95 for the city of Austin, and 95. So about 95. So essentially what that means, if a home is priced at $100,000, which we know that's very rare in this area, in all of these areas, but just kind of using that as a nice round number, that means that most homes are closing at $95,000, meaning they are getting a pretty big discount on that home as to where it was listed at, a 5% discount, meaning the home, people came in at a lower offer. And you see, compared to the previous year in March of 2023, we saw a 90%. So, much lower in March. And again, we were coming off of all-time highs in 2022. So definitely now sellers are getting a little bit more realistic in where they're setting their home prices, and compared to 2023. And we're getting a lot closer to list price. So it's not like an environment here in March, or at least when these contracts were agreed to in February, where sellers were negotiating pretty strongly and not getting too much off of their list price and still coming to an agreement. So you're not coming in and getting homes for half. You're not getting homes for 30%, 20% discount, even 10% discount. You see 5%. Now, do bear in mind that a lot of these homes, even though they say 95%, a lot of these homes are closing with concessions. Primarily, that is due to these high interest rates. You see a trend of people that are doing temporary rate buydowns, and that's been pretty constant and consistent since quarters 3 and 4 of 2022. Once the market really kind of stalled and took its downward course, we saw the influx of 2-1 buydowns to lower that interest rate impact especially when there was less competition, in that you didn't have to come in with a full price offer and above price offer, as homes are sitting on the market, as you can see here, last March and this March, 80 days on market. So definitely a home sitting. Gone are the days of put a sign in the yard and have it gone within a month, or in some cases, and during the pandemic, it was 2 to 3 days, 1 week. We're not seeing that anymore. So not too many homes over list price, not too many less than 2 months. Even really, we're in the 2 to 3 months is the sweet spot for this metro area. And kind of rounding out our county kind of deep dive here, let's take a look at for sale inventory. Now, here's another one with a kind of a dangerous upward trend here. So we went from historical lows down here. A kind of the fair market average here in 2017 was 691 homes for sale at a given time. Now we are nearly double that. So inventory is nearly double in Hays County as of this is current as of April 2024. All right, now let's kind of take a look at some year-to-date trends. So this is going to be looking at January, February, March, and we're going to include April year-to-date. Now, keep in mind, April year-to-date is off of 24 days. I pulled this data as of April 24th. That's the date this video is being filmed. So it's going to be released most likely on the 25th, if not the 26th. Bear with me here as we get the production team going on this. However, let's take a look at the number of active listings. So this is active listings. Again, kind of going along with this, deep dive concerning inventory trends that we're looking at. And this is the entire MSA. This is pulled directly from aboard.com. This is the Austin Board of Realtors, the local MLS here. So this is coming directly from closed sales data. So you see each and every month, active listings is substantially higher than 2023. And again, that was a year that, not a great year by any means, a stable year, but compared to 2022 and 2021, definitely not the super strong sellers market that we saw here in Austin, Texas. One of the hottest markets in the country. 2021 was the hottest market in the country. Obviously, we are the epicenter here of this latest housing downturn, not necessarily a crash. However, from May of 2022 till the end of that year, here in Austin, you could call that definitely a crash, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But active listings. So, the concerning part here is April. So April we have, and now there could still be homes listed in these last week, and there could be homes that sell, that close, or go under contract. Or go under contract that take off from the active listing number. So this number is subject to change, and we'll see towards the end here. We may not be too different from this number now, but still, as we stand, it should stick here with the amount of homes that will be listed as opposed to the homes that will be pending. I would have to guess and say there's going to be more listings than pendings in these last few days, especially with 7.5% interest rates. So don't be surprised if this number comes closer to 26,000. So we're going to be looking at 26 versus 21. So that's about a 20% jump in active listings month over month. And that's pretty consistent here with the rest of the months here in 2024. So you can see the trend here is definitely going up in terms of active listings on the market. So new listings are going to be homes that just hit the market within the first couple of weeks. And we see kind of a little different trend here. So the new listings are, and now, we are definitely seeing homes that hit the market that are still going pretty fast. If you price it right, if it's in a hot neighborhood, you are going to see it come off much faster than others. What we're looking at here is averages. So Keep that in mind as well. There are still pockets of Austin. We'll get to that here later as we kind of deep dive into the zip code data. But definitely here some more trends here of 2024 outpacing 2023 by and large. We have a few days here left in April, so I would definitely anticipate us to be above April 2024, to be above April 23. We're almost there. We're at 9,100 in 2023. As of as of the 24th of April, 88. So 300 more listings in the entire MSA. I think that's a pretty safe guess that we're going to be above that. Again, we'll confirm here in a couple weeks when we take a deep dive in April's data. But as of right now, we're seeing concerning trends, not as concerning as active listings, but definitely an upward trend in new listings as well. Here's closed sales. Now this is definitely a better number here, a better trend. As you can see, January, February were both outpacing 2023's closed sales, but now in March you see we are starting to head the other direction, and it does not look like April is going to reach last April's closed sales here with just a week left in April. We have just under 4,000 closed sales compared to 5,640. So if we can get 1,640 more sales, we can kind of tie like we did last month. I'd call this, more or less flat, slightly down 5,820 to 5,788. That's about as close as it can get. So something to look at here. Closed sales have been a little bit stronger to start the year, but that is even starting to fade here. Lastly, let's take a look at, not lastly, but another data point here is days on market. So these are another kind of concerning metric here. This is how long a home stays on the market compared to last year. Significantly higher, 82 days compared to 61 in January, 82 days compared to 67 in February, 73 days compared to 67. And now this is an average, so we don't have to worry about us being in the middle of April and not having a full month. This is going to average the month. So good news here is that this trend is going down for 2024. The bad news is we are still well above 2023. So something to keep an eye on here is days on market seem to be going in a better direction. However, let's take a look if this increases here for the last week. As we have, again, talking about interest rates. I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but as we've seen in the past, interest rates, and as I'm kind of teasing again, we're going to look into a chart that kind of correlates the relationship between between median price and interest rates. So if interest rates remain high, this days of market number could continue to trick up here. Let's take a look at the next data point here. This is something I wanted to add. This is expired listings. So kind of going in line with days on market. As homes remain on market longer, there's a better chance for them to expire, meaning the seller may not be realistic or may not get an offer that they like. Maybe they overpriced the home from the beginning and they don't end up accepting an offer. A lot of times you'll see this where they'll just let the home expire. They may end up relisting the very next day. However, sometimes they take it completely off the market for quite some time, or they'll relist it, in a week or 2 weeks or a couple months, depending on what they have going on in their lives. But as we see here, again, expired listings are outpacing 2023 for each and every month, and really, we saw March kind of be the spike here. We have some time left, so we'll see if more expire here in April. But right now, we are definitely on a trend of more expireds than last year. Interesting data point to look at when we're talking about home price softening. Kind of the correlation between active listings and median sale price. As active listings were very high, you see sale price rather low. And as sale price climbs, you see active listings take a big dip here. Finally, now that we see active listings spiking, you'll now see median sale price lowering. Something to keep an eye on here moving forward. Here's closed sales. Here's active listings for the last 10 years. So this is going back to January 2014. Number of active listings. So you see this peaks and valleys. So what's happening here is um, in the summer, in the middle of the months, in the beginning of the year, it starts low. So this is January 2014. Towards the middle of the year, the summer months is where we see the peaks, and then towards the end of the year, we see less people list, more homes sell, and this kind of repeats the same process year over year. Going into the pandemic again, we see very low numbers of listings here, and even lower towards the beginning and ends of the years until it spikes up. And here we go, 2023, well above. Now we're above pre-pandemic, and even well before pandemic, 2014. Look where we sit now. So 2023 and 2024, definitely not a good trend for active listings, historically speaking, at least in the past 10 years. We are substantially higher in that regard. Now, listings is inventory is not just a Austin problem; it's a Texas problem. So we have 31% compared to March 2023, an increase of 31% in housing inventory. So homes for sale, essentially. Now you see a lot of the nation here is in blue. Meaning, not in great territory. You see blue to green here gets as high as 50. Florida kind of leading the pack. And remember, we saw Florida in 2022. Remember, we just talked about Austin being the 2021 leader for real estate. 2022, Miami, and really all of Florida was calling themselves the leader of the pack. And even into 2023, you saw just still a huge influx of people moving to Florida. But supply is going through the roof there, 57% increase. So they are now the leaders of the nation in terms of inventory. You see, just a couple states here. Nevada, kind of an outlier here, negative 26%. But California, even, they've had a strong market here in the last 12 to 18 months, 11% increase since March. Arizona, Colorado, more areas that we thought were kind of strong are now North Carolina is another one, 30%. So they're in line with Texas here in terms of year over year inventory. So not just an Austin problem, not just a Texas problem. This is kind of a national issue here, especially in some states. Before we get into the zip codes, I want to take a look here. Now, this is another kind of talking about interesting correlation. This is mortgage rate purchase index. So purchase applications is going to be this blue backing here, and then we have the mortgage rate. So mortgage applications is kind of the leading indicator for buyer demand. Obviously, if mortgage applications are down in the coming months or in the following month, you should see close our pending sales down and closed sales down, kind of following that trend. So we saw mortgage applications, really elevated here. This is the 1 year. Let's go back 5 years. So going back 5 years, pre-pandemic, 2019, sitting here, kind of average. We'll call this average here. We really, here's the pandemic, here's COVID, boom, we crash. Nobody's getting an application. Real estate industry kind of stopped. Interest rates get lowered here, as you can see, and down into the twos, and we see mortgage applications spike. So they're spiking here all the way through 2022. Mortgage rates still low. We're spiking here in mortgage applications. Now here comes the mortgage rate starting to increase. As it increases, mortgage applications decrease. You see a couple little volatile waves here that kind of, and correspondingly enough, mortgage applications also do the same thing in the background. Now that we have remained elevated here since, really since the end of 2022, we see interest rates in the sixes, sevens, up to the eight. So as we remained elevated, now we're seeing the lowest mortgage application demand in the last 5 years. So, interesting there that, the demand seems to be lessening as well. And we're also seeing inventory spike, active listings spike, and we know what that can do to median sale price. Obviously, a crash in sales will also, could also have an adverse effect on price in general, and just definitely some, good information for homeowners to know and buyers to see this kind of data. Now let's take that promise dive into zip codes. Very interesting here to look at. So let's take a look at Austin here. All right, so let's take a look right here downtown, 78701. So here's for sale inventory. Here, this dotted line is the average amount of homes for sale, historically speaking, looking like about right at around 100, a little over 100. So right now we're at 174. We're almost double the average. And look where we were here in 2022. Really all-time lows here. 25 homes for sale only in the downtown zip code. We're up to 174. So definitely, if you're a buyer looking at a downtown condo, you can get some good deals on that right now. If you're a seller, you're going to have to really, if you're moving within Austin or moving to another downtown condo, could be a good time to upgrade. In that you're going to get a really low price. Obviously, deal with the interest rate, how you can, whether it's a temporary buy down, putting more money down, potentially assuming a loan if possible. Obviously, there is some assumptions out there. You got to put a lot of money down to do that. If you want to, talk about assumptions, loan assumptions, we can definitely talk offline about that. That's an opportunity for you as well. But yeah, definitely we are seeing some spiking here with inventory in downtown Austin. Let's take a look at East Austin, the east side of downtown. We should be looking at similar numbers here. Low historical lows in 2022, spiking up. In historical average here is looks like about 90 right there. And we are at 155. So not double, but, about 70-80% above historical averages. 78704, Zilker Park, Travis Heights, SoCo. Again, super low here in 2022, only 35 homes for sale. The average here is about let's call it 130, 135. Oh, I'm sorry, 148. So just below 150. We're at 267 here, so almost double as well there. Again, really good buying signs for South Austin. 78745, just south of it. We see, again, well above this dotted line here, this moving average. Now, interestingly enough, as you go farther south, the tips of South Austin here in the South Central Austin, 78748, we're right at average. So if you're a seller in 7848, you may get, you may get a little bit more competition, or at least be facing less competition on the market than some other parts of Austin. So 78748, kind of a leader here in terms of South Austin. 78739, here's Southwest Austin, Circle C, kind of similar as well. So if you're looking to sell in Circle C, might not be the worst time to do it here, especially if you're going to relocate to maybe a Zilker Park. That might be a nice move to make. Upgrade, potentially get a little bit closer to the city, maybe get a bigger house, and you can take a move from Circle C to Zilker Park and, make out kind of well here based on what this data is telling us. 78749, definitely above average here. So if you're a buyer in that area, looking at the east side of 35, 78744, this is actually where I live. You can see we're way above historical averages here, about 50 homes for sale in the zip code on average. You see here, we were well below that for quite some time. However, for the past couple years, definitely more of a buyer's market here in 78747, 78744, excuse me, 78747. Let's take a look at this one here. Southeast Austin, we got definitely below in the pandemic, well below the average here of about 41 homes for sale. Right now we're at 76, 60 in 2023, 69 currently. So kind of trending in a better direction here, but definitely well above average. Let's go up north. Let's take a look at a couple zip codes up north. Why don't we look at? Let's take a look at Mueller, the Mueller Park, Windsor Park area. Here we go again. 60 is the average. We're at about 110, so almost double. Definitely some good opportunities in the Mueller area right now here in April 2024. Westlake Hills, how about that? You're a high price buyer looking to get into a luxury zip code. Not too far above, but definitely nowhere near the low numbers here in the pandemic. So I think you're noticing quite the trend here. Crestview, same thing, above average in terms of inventory. So inventory is high just about everywhere, guys. We're not seeing low inventory anywhere. If it's low, it's kind of more on historical average, kind of more fair market average. Let's go further north. Let's check out Pflugerville again. Okay, so Pflugerville seems to be calming down a bit. Kind of more of a balanced market here in terms of right on average of the amount of homes for sale. So sellers in Pflugerville might be a decent time here to relocate within Austin into one of these other areas that maybe are seeing a increase in supply. So something to think about here. Round Rock, here's a popular area in Williamson County. They're above average, but trending in the right direction. Round Rock seems to be kind of strengthening here of late. I've had some buyers in Round Rock and definitely competition. Here we go. Here is Round Rock, kind of Round Rock proper here, 78665. We're below average here. So this is the first one we've seen in this little exercise that was below, not on average, but below average. So Round Rock, if you're a seller in Round Rock, great time right now, comparatively speaking. A couple other popular areas. Let's look at Georgetown. Again, another area that's trending in the right direction. So we see Williamson County kind of being the stronghold of the Austin market right now in terms of demand, in terms of seller strength and lack of inventory to compete against. Let's take a look at Leander over here, Northwest Austin, another popular. So not too far above the average, definitely higher than Round Rock and Georgetown in terms of inventory, but not as high as some of these numbers that we're seeing here in Central Austin, in South Central Austin as well. Here's another popular Georgetown area. So this one also a little higher price points here in the West Georgetown and Leander area compared to Round Rock and Georgetown and East Georgetown. So another thing to think about here, the areas, another trend we're noticing is areas with higher price points seem to be, by and large, seem to be having more supply and less buyers take homes off of the market. Not too shocking there with 7.5% interest rates. So expect to see homes pushed down a little bit in these higher suburbs. Let's take a look at Cedar Park here to kind of wrap things up. I would expect, you know what? Let's take a look at Hayes County. We've been kind of on these three. Cedar Park, again, not as many new builds here in this suburb, a little bit more developed. So they're kind of able to control supply a little bit more with just, your resale market. So another Cedar Park, a great area right now to be a seller, comparatively speaking, compared to Leander, compared to West Georgetown. Cedar Park would be a better time to sell right now. Let's take a look at some Hayes County stuff before we get out of here. Let's take a look at Dripping Springs, and then let's take a look at Buda and Kyle. All right, here's Buda, kind of a big area here. So not all Buda, there's some other areas mixed in here. So this is definitely also, we saw in the stats that, the most inventory was in Hayes County. So this, I was expecting a little bit higher based on that, but, definitely well above the average here of just about 104 homes is an average. Right now at 156, so about 50% higher than normal. Kyle, this one looks a little bit more dicey. So in Kyle, we are at 251 homes for sale right now, and that is compared to an average of about 150. So about 100 homes over average, almost double, on its way to double, about 75% higher than normal. And then last but not least, let's take a look at Dripping Springs as promised. Well, Wimberley just popped up here. So, yep, this is another one exceeding the averages here in terms of supply. And as promised, let's make our way to Dripping. So here is Dripping Springs 78620. And they are also at about an average of 110. We're at 193, so almost double here. So you're looking to move to Dripping Springs now. Not the worst time to do so. If and when interest rates drop, we haven't seen it. There was a lot of speculation of rates dropping that just did not occur as promised. Even though nobody really promised it, a lot of people speculated and took assumptions. As we've kind of talked about in previous videos that I've done on Instagram and other places. But here's a plug for Instagram. Go ahead and follow me there as well. Highlight Mo, highlight_Mo, _ ATX Real Estate. I'm going to put the link in the description here. Follow me there. I do a lot of market, shorter form, hard hitting market updates. No sugarcoating. We talk about the interest rate. We break down Fed meetings. Instead of speculating and kind of gaslighting, we give you the real info. I was kind of the first one that was saying that, don't count on 3 interest rate cuts this year. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was one of the first ones to kind of speculate that might not be the case. And, really as we stand here, who knows if we get any. As a realtor, I'd love to see some. For my buyers out there who've been on the fence, for my sellers who've been locked in place, I would love to see some. But at the same time, the market has been overheated for some time, and this little downturn, can really help, kind of get pricing in line and have more of a stable, healthy market. Right now, we are sitting at the kind of the 7.25 range for interest rates. Let's definitely see where that goes. If it remains high, if active listings remain high, don't expect prices to continue to increase. We may see that figure kind of trick down here towards the end of the year. Of course, anything can happen. Nobody has a crystal ball. But that's kind of where things at. Please be sure to follow this channel, subscribe to this channel for more of these updates. I'm doing home tours with new builders. I'm looking at neighborhood spotlights, development news in the area, things that can really impact the housing market as a whole. And of course, we're going to be breaking down market updates on a monthly basis in this detailed deep dive, just like we're doing right now. So subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Do me a favor. I'm putting a lot of effort and energy into this. I need the support. I want to continue making these videos. And the only way I'm able to do that is with your comments, with your subscriptions, and your watches in all reality. Thanks for watching. If you found that analysis valuable, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more updates just like this one. And if you're looking to buy or sell in the Austin area, contact me and we'll begin to craft your smart buying plan.